Support for Families is an agency that provides information, education, and parent-to-parent support for families who have kids with any kind of disability.
Negotiating the maze of services, trying to find services for your child, particularly in early intervention, and particularly for families who don't speak English. There are just so many barriers and time delays and possibilities for confusion and just kind of isolation that sometimes families experience. And all the families I've talked to over the last year have said, I would ask them, you know, what made the difference for you? How did you get started in this journey of finding services? And they would always say, oh, Support for Families.
It's a great networking tool where the resources are there.
You have a place to be honest about your experience, and that's so valuable.
They're there to support me and let me know that I'm not alone.
It's just an avenue where you can always get help.
As a mother myself, it's a fabulous opportunity to be able to help families get access to the information and resources and support that they need in order to be able to make good decisions for themselves around what they feel is appropriate for their child.
And it's not just a referral agency that hooks a family up and says, okay, fine, you have your services now. They stay with families, and their whole, support. The word support really says it all. It's supporting families to learn about the services, to learn their rights, but to learn in a way that helps them to be actual partners at the table.
I was told what the law was, one thing from the school district, and they told me differently. So I found out what Support for Families told me was actually the law.
What Support for Family has done is lead us to the right direction, read and learn about the law and interpret for ourselves, and talk to other families and other advocates to know what it actually is and be able to advocate for ourselves, for our children.
I'm a parent of 4 children, and my third was born with severe disabilities. And I think she was 9 months old. I got hooked up with Support for Families. I started going to a support group that was run by Helen Rossini and Joan Castle, who were the co-founders of Support for Families. And it was an extraordinary opportunity for me to be around other families. And being around other families normalized the idea of having a child who had severe disabilities.
I think it's really helpful to have a parent on the phone line, because that's how I started out. 7 years ago, I was on the phone line, and as the parent mentor coordinator, working with parents, my coworkers and I, 4 other parents, helped me learn the system. And that's how I learned how to help my youngest daughter with mild CP, how to get ready for her doctor's appointments, how to request for assessments, how to follow up. And by learning that myself, I was able to teach other families how to do the same.
One of the biggest things that has helped us as a family is I started attending a parent-to-parent support group and met a lot of other parents going on the same sort of journey that we were. So instantly we felt, all of us as a family, we could feel like we're not alone, and we have access to a great deal of information.
And being able to meet up with those families and hear their stories and be able to laugh together and cry together. And it taught me that my daughter is not a tragedy, but that in fact she's different, and that we're different. And that with enough services and building a network of support, she can have a life just as wonderful and full of beings as anybody else.